If the Buffalo Bills can afford to pay Khalil Shakir, why is there so much hesitation around James Cook? That's the question that's been echoing through Bills Mafia lately. And today we're diving into that head first. Now, let's be clear. This isn't some fantasy football debate or hot take. This is about understanding the actual economics of the NFL, the reality of positional value, and how teams, especially one like Buffalo, prioritize where their money goes. Because on the surface, yeah, it looks strange. Shaka gets a deal worth over $13 million a year after putting up just over 800 yards and 4 touchdowns, and everyone claps it up like it's the steal of the offseason. Meanwhile, James Cook racks up over 1,200 yards and finds the end zone 18 times. And suddenly $15 million is outrageous? That seems a little backwards, right? Until you zoom out and look at the big picture. First, let's talk market value, because wide receivers and running backs live in completely different financial universes. Right now, the top wideout in the league is pulling in over $40 million per season. The highest paid running back, about half that. That's a massive gap. In fact, the top 21 wide receivers in the NFL all make more money than the highest paid running back. Let that sink in. It's not about how much production you have. It's about how the league values your position. So no, Khalil Shakir did not get a $15 million deal. He's making a little over $13 million per season, which actually places him 27th among wide receivers in the league in terms of annual value. If James Cook were to get that same $15 million number that's been floated around, he'd be tied for 3rd among all running backs. Right up there with Derrick Henry, just behind Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. That's elite tier money for a position that NFL front offices are notoriously cautious about investing in. And look, I love James Cook. Dude can ball, he's dynamic, he's explosive, and he's a big reason why this offense took the steps. It did last season, but if we're being honest, and this is a tough pill for some fans, he's not on the same level as CMC or Saquon. Those guys are game wreckers. They're the centerpiece of entire offenses. James Cook? He's incredibly valuable, but he's not that. At least not yet. But even beyond the dollar signs and player rankings, there's the positional identity. Running backs are viewed differently because of how the game has evolved. It's a pass-first league. And more importantly, it's a committee-back league. Most teams rotate multiple backs throughout the game. Durability is a massive concern. Career longevity is shorter. The wear and tear on a running back's body is brutal, and teams know it. That's why you see a guy like Shakir, who plays a premium position with upward potential, get a longer leash and more guaranteed money. And if we're talking value too, the team is not as black and white as yards and touchdowns. There was a point last season where the Bills played without James Cook, the Jets game, and guess what? The run game was still productive. But when they had to go without Shakir, remember that Houston game? That might have been one of the worst games Josh Allen has played since he became an elite quarterback. It was that ugly. He tried to gut it out the following week against Baltimore, and it still didn't look right. So even though running backs touch the ball a ton and Cook's stat sheet looks fantastic, the drop-off without Shakir was way more noticeable. And that says something. Still, I get where fans are coming from. When you see a player like Cook putting up numbers like that and asking for $15 million, it doesn't sound unreasonable on paper. But in the reality of NFL economics, that's pushing it. The Bills front office is walking a tightrope. They have to pay market value, not emotional value. And then there's the hold-in situation, which has become more common across the league. This is when a player shows up to camp but doesn't participate in full practice. Why? To avoid being fined $50,000 a day, which is what happens if you're holding out completely. So James Cook being at camp but not taking part in full activities? That's a business move. He's applying pressure without losing money. It's calculated. But let's not get it twisted. If he misses a preseason game, he loses a week of regular season pay. That's real money. So there's urgency here. He's pushing hard before the preseason opener, trying to force the issue. But will it work? That's the big question. Because right now the Bills hold all the leverage. Cook is still on his rookie contract. He's not going to sit out regular season games and lose out on millions. That's not good business. And frankly, I don't think Buffalo's front office is going to budge. They know the market. They know what running backs are worth. And unless Cook is willing to come down off that $15 million number, a deal might not happen anytime soon. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about tearing down James Cook. This guy has been a great weapon for Buffalo. He's improved in pass protection. He's become more patient as a runner, and he's added explosiveness to this offense. But that doesn't mean the Bills are just going to throw money at him. Every dollar counts in the NFL cap system, and you have to be strategic about where it goes. On top of that, you got to look at how the team's been built. The Bills are clearly prioritizing wide receivers, defensive backs, and the trenches. They just used 5 straight draft picks on the defensive side of the ball. That tells you a lot about their mindset. And when you're in that window with a quarterback like Josh Allen, you can't afford to miss on cap allocations. Every contract has to make sense, not just emotionally, but strategically. And again, when you compare it to Shakir, the conversation breaks down if you just focus on raw stats. 800 yards versus 1,200 yards. 4 touchdowns versus 18 touchdowns. But this isn't fantasy football. This is real team building strategy. You pay the going rate for the position, not just the production. Let me say it. One more time for the people in the back. James Cook getting $15 million a year would make him the 3rd highest paid running back in the NFL. That is elite company. And while Cook is very good, he's not quite in that elite bracket. And you better believe Buffalo is aware of that distinction. Now, you want to know who might actually be more valuable to this team. All things considered, Khalil Shakir. That might sound wild at first, but look at how the offense struggled without him. He's the guy who opens things up underneath. He's the guy who can find soft spots in zone, who gives Allen a safety valve when the deep shots aren't there. That kind of reliability and route running precision, that's worth real money. So while fans might scratch their heads when they see Shakir get paid and Cook still waiting, the front office sees it through a different lens. They see how each player impacts the offense structurally, how they fit into the long-term plan, and what the positional market demands. This isn't Madden, this is the NFL, and every move counts. Coming up next, we'll dive into the growing trend of hold-ins around the league, what it actually means, and whether it's a smart play for guys like James Cook. We'll also take a closer look at how the Bills' offense changes with or without certain players, and how all of this could shape their approach heading into Week 1. Stick around. So, let's dig a little deeper into this hold-in concept, because it's becoming the go-to tactic for NFL players trying to force contract negotiations without paying the price of a traditional holdout. This isn't the old-school training camp drama where guys would just vanish and rack up massive fines day after day. No, this is the modern playbook. Players like James Cook show up, check in, appear in team photos, maybe do a little stretching or individual work, but when it comes to full team drills or padded reps, they're just watching. That's intentional. The reason is simple: money. If a player doesn't report to training camp and it's not an excused absence, he can be fined $50,000 for every day missed. That's no joke. That adds up quickly, especially for a player still on a rookie contract like Cook. By showing up but not participating, he sends a clear message. I'm here, but I'm not risking anything until we talk business. It's a silent protest that avoids the financial hammer. But let's not mistake presence for peace. A hold-in still creates tension. Coaches notice, teammates notice. The front office definitely notices. Now, will it work? Probably not, at least not in this case. Because here's the thing, the Bills are holding the cards right now. They've got James Cook under contract for this season, and they're not obligated to extend or rework anything. Sure, it'd be nice to keep him happy. And of course, you want to reward good performance. But from a business perspective, Buffalo doesn't need to act right now. Cook's not going to sit out games and forfeit real money. That would hurt him more than it would hurt the team. So the hold-in is just a temporary pressure tactic. It's a negotiation nudge, not a nuclear option. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. Myles Garrett, one of the NFL's most dominant defensive forces over the past decade, has officially been confirmed as the newest addition to the Buffalo Bills, marking one of the most high-profile moves of the offseason. The former Cleveland Browns pass rusher, long recognized for his explosive power and technical precision off the edge, will now don the red, white, and blue in upstate New York. This stunning transfer ends an era in Cleveland where Garrett was not only the face of the defense, but also a symbol of the franchise's post-rebuild aspirations. Drafted first overall in 2017, Garrett amassed numerous accolades and led the team in sacks year after year. For Buffalo, the signing signals a bold win-now approach, aiming to shore up a pass rush unit that at times struggled to pressure opposing quarterbacks in key moments. Garrett's presence immediately elevates the Bills' defensive ceiling, offering a rare combination of athleticism, football IQ, and sheer disruption potential. His ability to command double teams will also create opportunities for teammates along the defensive front, making this acquisition a possible turning point. As Super Bowl dreams intensify in Buffalo, Garrett's arrival may be the final piece in a championship puzzle that has long eluded the franchise. The implications of Garrett's departure will be deeply felt in Cleveland, where his contributions went far beyond statistics. While his sack totals consistently ranked among the league's best, his leadership and relentless energy set the tone for the entire Browns defense. Losing a player of his caliber leaves a gaping void, not only in talent, but also in morale, especially for a team that had built its identity around defensive intensity. For years, Garrett terrorized AFC North quarterbacks and was often the difference maker in tightly contested divisional games. Now, with his exit, Cleveland faces the challenge of rebuilding its defensive core, likely turning to younger talents or free agency to fill the gap. The front office will need to recalibrate its strategy, and quickly, as the AFC continues to be stacked with elite offensive threats. Meanwhile, for Garrett, the move to Buffalo offers a new challenge and a fresh environment where expectations are sky high. The Bills are a team that has flirted with postseason success but fallen just short, and Garrett's arrival is seen as a direct response to those shortcomings. His track record suggests he's more than capable of rising to the occasion. Buffalo's decision to invest heavily in Garrett also speaks volumes about their aggressive mindset entering the 2025 NFL season. After multiple playoff appearances under head coach Sean McDermott, the Bills have built a solid foundation, but questions have lingered about their ability to seal the deal in crunch time. By adding a perennial Pro Bowler like Garrett, the team is not just adding talent, they're making a statement. Garrett's presence changes how opposing offenses game plan for Buffalo, potentially forcing hurried throws, creating turnovers, and improving the secondary's performance as a result. His versatility, able to rush from various alignments and collapse pockets with ease, makes him a nightmare for offensive coordinators. In a conference loaded with elite quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, the need for a premier edge rusher cannot be overstated. Garrett gives Buffalo exactly that. While his transition into a new system may come with some learning curve, few doubt his ability to adapt and excel. The anticipation surrounding his debut in Bills colors is enormous, and if his past performances are any indication, fans in Orchard Park may be witnessing the dawn of a new defensive era. As for the Browns, the timing of the trade raises questions about the direction of the franchise. With Deshaun Watson still under a massive contract and uncertainty looming around the coaching staff's long-term viability, losing Garrett could signal a soft reset or even a deeper restructuring of the roster. Cleveland's defense, ranked among the league's best statistically in recent seasons, relied heavily on Garrett's ability to pressure the quarterback without requiring heavy blitzing. Without him, they may need to adopt a more aggressive scheme or place greater emphasis on interior line play. The front office must now also deal with fan backlash, as Garrett was not only productive but immensely popular, a rare blend of athletic dominance and community presence. While trades of this magnitude are often driven by cap space or contract disputes, the Browns' willingness to part ways with a generational talent suggests either internal discord or a belief that they can contend with a different formula. Regardless, the road ahead will be rocky. Garrett's shoes are not easily filled, and Cleveland may find that out a hard way when they face Buffalo in a potentially fiery AFC matchup down the line. Ultimately, the Garrett to Buffalo move reshapes the landscape of the AFC and possibly the entire NFL. In a league where elite pass rushers are valued almost as highly as franchise quarterbacks, Buffalo has managed to secure one of the best. Garrett's track record, discipline, and drive to win align perfectly with the Bills' current mission, with the defense already boasting talent in the secondary and linebacker core. Adding a game wrecker like Garrett makes Buffalo even more formidable. It's a bet that could either culminate in a Lombardi trophy or become one of the boldest miscalculations in recent memory, depending on how the rest of the roster holds up. The locker room leadership he brings is an added bonus, as younger players will undoubtedly look to him for guidance and inspiration. In a season that promises fierce competition, tight margins, and no shortage of dramatic storylines, Garrett's move might just be the spark that tips the balance of power. All eyes will be on the Bills when the season kicks off, and with Myles Garrett leading the charge, the team and the city can finally dare to believe that the championship window is wide open. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.